Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So in the previous video I just explained you how to create a pipeline in Azure Data Factory. So today in this video we are going to learn about the triggers. Okay, so triggers and different type of triggers, so in which scenarios what kind of trigger we will be using, and I'll show you like how to use the trigger into our pipeline. Okay, I'll show you in the platform. So let's start with like what is trigger. So a pipeline can be manually started or it can be started like, so it can be manually started. Sometime we need to automate it, right? Maybe sometime we might have a condition that a pipeline should execute at the early in the morning 9 o'clock or at the evening 12 o'clock. So in that case trigger is used. So in Azure Data Factory, a trigger is a way to start the execution of a pipeline or a data flow. So it will define condition under which the pipeline or data flow should execute, maybe sometime or maybe depend upon event or manually. Okay. So there are usually three types of trigger in Azure Data Factory. Okay, one is schedule, one is tumbling window trigger, one is event based trigger. So schedule trigger, a trigger that involves a pipeline on a wall clock schedule. That means like wall clock means like if you want to run it into a 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, like you need to schedule like at this time, at particular this time our pipeline should get triggered or execute. So in that case we'll be using schedule trigger. So second one is tumbling window trigger. It's also a similar type of schedule trigger, but here a trigger that operates on a periodic interval while also retaining the state. That means same workflow state. Okay. So periodic interval means, suppose if you want to run your pipeline for a one certain period, so some window, okay, maybe from 1 week, then in 1 week every 1 hour, every day 1 hour you need to run it. So in that case tumbling window trigger, so it will run into a window fashion, like 9 to 10 one window, 10 to 11 one window, like that. Okay, I'll show you in demo, like then you will understand like properly. Event based triggers is it respond to an event, maybe a upcoming of data or outgoing of the data, or maybe a deletion of a file or insertion of a file. In that case event based trigger is suitable. So pipelines and triggers have many to many relationships. Multiple triggers can kick off a single pipeline. So that means a single pipeline can have a multiple triggers. Okay, yeah. So these are the some examples. So in which case we'll be using schedule trigger. That means just before I told you start and end times, like frequency we should mention. Event means like deletion of a data or arrival of a new file. That's all. If you want to learn much more about the trigger, here is one link below. You can see, you can go to that link and understand properly, like better. So event based trigger, just like I told you before, like it will respond to an event. There are two type of event based trigger: storage event runs in a pipeline, storage event trigger, and custom event trigger. Okay, so in this video I'll show you demo for only storage event trigger. If you want to learn more about the custom event trigger, then please go to those below two links where you can understand properly about the custom event trigger. Okay, this is the definition for a tumbling window trigger. So it will allows you to specify recurring schedule for the execution of a pipeline based on a fixed size window of time. That means window of time means maybe 1 week. So for 1 week our pipeline should run every 1 hour. See, and it is a one-to-one relation. That means a pipeline can have only single tumbling window trigger. Okay, a pipeline cannot have a multiple tumbling window trigger. And one benefit of a tumbling window trigger is like we can use the history date also. Okay, like what is the date today? Yeah, let's say December 27. Then you can extract the data 27 2022, right? So if you want to extract the data for 2020 from 2020 to 2021, then in that case also tumbling window trigger is suitable for you. Okay, that's all about the theoretical part. Okay, now let's go to our yeah, trigger. Okay guys, okay, so let me open data factory. Okay, it's already open. Actually I have already created two triggers, so I'll delete this. I'll detach. Okay, close it. So this data pipeline we have already created in our previous video, that you know that. So for here, if you want to add a trigger, okay, then what we need to do? So over here you can see one Thunderbird icon, right? Over there you can see add trigger. So you just need to click on that, and then trigger now means it's manually. Now you need to click on new, and then you need to choose a trigger. So these two are the previously I created. So since I will be giving you a demo, so I'll show you how to create a trigger. Yeah, so at the first we'll learn about the schedule trigger. So type schedule already, so you need to mention the start date and then time zone, so it depends upon the requirement of you, and reoccurrence. So every 15 minutes you want to run the pipeline, then you need to provide 15 minutes. If you want to run it every 1 hour, then you need to provide like this. And days means, yeah, you need to provide every 1 day at what time. Okay, you can mention the hours, like maybe 7 o'clock certain minutes. Then like it will say, like it will run every day but at certain one time only. Okay, and let's see for the week. So you can mention them. Suppose Saturday and the Sunday is holiday for you and that there is no data, then you don't have to choose the Saturday and Sunday, you just need to choose these 4 week. Okay, so that it will be very useful for you, like, and then you can mention the time and month. Okay, like in month, like there can be other public holidays also, right? So in those days, if you don't want to run your pipeline, you can mention already in month days, in certain date, or in certain date you don't want to run that pipeline. So in this way you can mention it, like in which day you want to run it, you can just select in this way, like this. Okay, okay, now I think let's hour only. So that's all. Okay, that's all for the schedule trigger. If you click on it, okay, you need to publish that, guys. Now okay, we just now we created a schedule trigger. If you go to the monitor and click on trigger runs, why okay, since we didn't publish, right, so it's not showing over here. If you publish it, yeah, it will show. So I'll show you later on. Then after, just now we learn about how to create schedule. Now we'll create a new more. Okay, second one is event phase. Yeah, event based trigger. So you can choose storage event, custom events. So storage events like deletion of a file, insertion of file, like that. So here you need to choose the subscription. You need to tell your storage account number, like in which storage account that data is going to insert or delete. So at the beginning only it for data we created. So container name is container it what, yeah, it data container, it data container. Then blob path begin with source, right? Okay, so what is the syntax for this? Okay, source you can mention like this, since we will be only txt file. So whenever a blob is created, that means whenever a file is created, this pipeline will get executed. And if you check on this button also, whenever the file is deleted, this pipeline will be getting executed. Okay, if you now click on continue. Okay, so in our folder there are two files that match with our int suite. Okay, that's all for, I think, event based, since we are not using any parameters. About parameters also, like in like other example, if it is needed I'll show it. Okay, so up to now we have created two events, two triggers. One is schedule, one is event based. Now third one is tumbling window. Okay, so it's like we'll use more schedule and tumbling, like actually it depends upon your requirements. Okay, tumbling window, tumbling window. Okay, so yeah, I forget to mention one thing, right? So over here, if you want to if you don't like in previous schedule trigger, if you didn't check on this checkbox, right, then your pipeline will be running like whole life. Okay, you are not mentioning what is the end date, so it will run every time. But like if you have a certain requirement, like it should run from today to next 2 months, then you need to specify end date over here like this, so you can mention over here. Okay, yeah. Now this is the tumbling window, recurrence and village. Yeah, dependence also I'll show it to you. So from today to 30. Okay, so what every 1 hour. Okay, sorry, every 1 hour. Tumbling which frequency, minutes must have interval. Okay, yeah, right. So what we are doing is, like, we are running from 1622 to 20, sorry, 20, yeah, 12, 30, yeah, 16 to 30, right? Now let's see, that means